So, welcome to All Powers from Within. My name is Ishwar. I help people expand their consciousness and accomplish any goal beyond their wildest dreams. I've decided to deviate just for today on a subject. Usually, I'm not. This channel is meant to be about personal development and NLP, yoga, etc. However, I've been doing some intense meditation and just happened after I had the privilege of explaining something to a person who has been struggling quite a lot due to the health condition that somebody very close to her has been going through. Therefore, they're almost like battling death for a few days. And therefore, I thought I would just give her a tip that is, I believe it's a very, very potent tip, which comes from the Sikh tradition. And in fact, they say, well, before we go into the whole thing, I would just make a short disclaimer. If you happen to be a person who's agnostic, who's atheist, who simply has their own view, their own dogma, whatever, and you prefer to stick to your own creed, then please feel free to skip this video. And I hope you have a wonderful day. So, the principle that I want to share with you is from the Sikh tradition. That is, there is a saying right at the beginning that is, it says, Ik Omkar. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with the tradition, the Sikh is it's one of the most important. I think it's the fifth largest religion. You could put it like a religion, but it's more of a lifestyle, which is originally from the northern state of India, which is called Punjab. But it is, it's becoming more and more extended. And anyway, so there is one of the most important principles right at the beginning of the Holy Scripture of Sikhism that says Ik Omkar. Okay. Now, my spiritual teacher told me that it can be translated, literally it means, well, there's one creator, okay? There's just one God, you could say. But in practical terms, he told me that it means Ik Omkar is you plus God equals one. Now, it may not make any sense at first. You might say, how can you, there's one, that is you, and there is God. So therefore it becomes two. The whole principle, actually, it's just the basis of Sikhism, besides devotion, is humility. Okay? So, in order for you plus God to become one, you need to get rid of your ego. And therefore it also means you surrender yourself to God's wish, to God's whatever your divine purpose is meant to be, which you may or may not be familiar. A much more humble approach would be to surrender to God and therefore say, you're open to His mission. Now, the reason I want to explain this is because there's times, especially when it is turbulent times and very challenging times, where you may feel like you're lost, you don't have much hope, etc. And I believe there's always hope, and we are here for a divine purpose. So in such times, I think it is just so amazingly powerful to surrender your wish to God. You just say, this is what I have. This is the simplest way to put it. You just express your fear, your concern, your worry, whatever it is, or it might just be something that you suspect might happen and you're afraid of it. And you place your wish the way you want it to end, and then you surrender to God. For example, if you are familiar with the Christian term, not my wish but thine, that it's roughly translate, I mean, it's not exactly the same, but in this case you are nullifying your ego and you're surrendering to the wish of God, because the fact that you may not see the bigger picture of what's going on, the problem, it might be a blessing in disguise, it might be something that leads you to a greater good and so on. But if you are willing to do this, if you surrender to God, then in my opinion, each and every time you do that, something you didn't even expect possible, didn't even ever think or suspected might happen, something so amazing might happen. And therefore you end up, on one hand, you relieve your pressure and you're able to go about, whatever you have to do, you do it in a better way. You're much more, I would say, less anxious, at the same time much more capable to handle the whole thing. And on the other hand, it's been just my own experience, and I would also say fortune and blessing that I've received, that every time I do this, I end up getting something a lot better, and that's what I believe it will happen with everybody who wholeheartedly surrenders to the wish of God. I hope this makes sense. If this resonated with you and you want to pay it forward to people, then just please share it with, especially, I would say, somebody who is going through a tough time. And I would say, never give up and never lose hope, never lose faith in God. Hope this finds you exactly in the right moment. If you never have any difficulty, then please try to remember this message, and with total humility I've just shared it with you. And as with most Sikh prayers, I would just end by asking God to forgive for the mistakes or anything that might have done unknowingly, even knowingly, if we might make mistakes at times. So that's the whole point. So talk to you soon. God bless.